What's going on, everybody? It's your friend Golden Lotus. I'm here with another tip on, overall tips on health, wellness, and overall productivity. Today I'm going to be going over something I've done in the past already. It's a basic meditation practice, but now that we're using a different format here, I kind of wanted to go over that again. So this is a basic, simple meditation. I'll talk about what the importance of meditation is, and also the importance of setting the tone of your day. I think that is one of the key components of meditation that I think a lot of spiritual teachers or gurus in general don't really talk about. They talk about it more in the ethereal sort of sense, which is also important way of learning how to deal with yourself throughout the day. But what I think personally is the difference between me meditating in the morning and me not meditating in the morning is having a day that feels very in control, or not in control. Control kind of gives me a sense of sort of tightly sort of managing something. This meditation gives me the sense that I'm capable of handling whatever's going to happen in my day. That, along with a breathing exercise, usually kind of sets right into stone. If I have the time, I like to journal, which I'm going to talk about in the second half of this segment. But let's get into meditation. So the kind of meditation that I'm teaching is a very simple, basic presence meditation. You're going to start to notice your hands. You're going to notice your feet. It's important during this meditation that we take in our sensations, because we want to tune out we want to tone down some of the other inputs that we're normally used to. So like our mind is normally racing and going a million miles a minute. So what you're doing by sensing your hands and feet is you're putting another input there, something else that you have to pay attention to other than the normal sort of craziness of the mind. So you're going to sit down. You could sit cross-legged. I think it's best to sit in a chair with your feet on the floor, your hands resting on your leg. And basically what you do is you close your eyes, take a few big deep breaths. And you just start to sense your hands and feet. And you sense them from the inside out. It doesn't matter what they feel like. It just matters that you're feeling. So realistically, it matters that we pay attention. It doesn't have to come, and it doesn't have to show up in any sort of specific way, in any sort of specific shape. So you're just starting to get a notice for your body sensations. This is also another practice. You can just do that in general as a general grounding practice for if you're feeling maybe anxious or your mind is sort of racing out of control. That's something called grounding, and that's a part of this meditation. So usually I like to build it in layers, that's how it works best for me, is I start to sense my hands and feet. I breathe in and out, sometimes really heavy sighs. It's fine to let out a heavy sigh, because you want to create as much space inside of yourself as possible. So as you're noticing your hands and feet, you're letting your breath sort of settle down into a natural rhythm. You're paying attention to your breath. You're noticing the inhale, the pause at the top of the inhale, the exhale, the natural pause at the bottom of the exhale. So that would be considered the second layer of the meditation. And once you have that nice and settled in, the real meditation, or the core aspect of the meditation, because what this is it's a presence-focused meditation. So you're going to be sensing into your lower belly. It's kind of, if you could imagine a space in between your belly and your back, you're going to bring your attention, your awareness to that space. Now, obviously, it's going to be natural that your attention drifts because our minds wander. It's easy for us to get distracted. That's not incorrect. The practice is bringing it back. That is the core of the practice. It's not how long you stay there. It's bringing yourself back. And so what this does, it builds your attention span. It helps build your capacity to be with yourself, to be with others, and particularly to be with sort of difficult things. Maybe you have to have a difficult conversation with your boss or a loved one. It really creates more of a spaciousness to handle whatever's going to happen. It builds a very, very profound sense of internal calmness. I guess calmness isn't the best word, but it's the word that's coming to mind. But maybe like an internal solidity is probably maybe even a better term. Now, this is a great practice for anybody to really do. Anybody can really do it. You could do 5 minutes, 10 minutes. My recommendation is 20. I try to do somewhere between 20 and 30 every day, but that always depends on your day. And always, the key to this is sort of getting a hold of your day before your day gets a hold of you. So it's just kind of not letting the day itself decide how you're going to be, not letting the chaos outside of us, the chaos of the world, sort of handle us. This is a great way to just set the tone. So I'll do a quick recap. So you're going to sense your hands and feet. First layer, from the inside out, doesn't matter what they feel like. You're going to breathe. In the beginning, you can breathe a couple of very heavy breaths, even some sighs in and out. And then the third part is sensing that part in the lower belly, between your belly and your back, and bringing your attention and your breath back to that area again and again and again. So even if you only did that once in your 25-minute practice or 30-minute practice, you will have done the meditation correctly. This is a fantastic way. I would love to even set a challenge out there, do a 15-day challenge for anybody who likes what I do or wants to start to improve the quality of their lives. Do a 15-day challenge. And at the end of that 15 days, hit me back with your insights. See, maybe it didn't do anything. Maybe it was extremely frustrating. It doesn't really matter what it is, but I'm really open to seeing what everybody's experience is with these tools. We're going to take a break. We're going to do some words, and we're going to come back with another segment. Our next segment is going to be, it's fantastic, it's going to be on breaking down anxiety and a journal practice for that.
Hi, I'm Tim Stead. I'm from Star Communications. We're a marketing support company. And if you need help with your next marketing project, please call 273-1900, or you can go to our website, starcommunications.us.
What's up, everybody? I'm back with the second part of this series, and this is going to be on a journal practice that you could do if you suffer from anxiety. Obviously, not everybody really knows me personally, but I suffered from a pretty extreme form of anxiety for about 2 years in my early 20s. I didn't sleep. I barely slept at all. It was extremely, extremely difficult until I really got some solid tools on teasing apart, breaking apart, and really looking at what this anxiety is. Anxiety is actually a normal part of being a person. It's a tool of perception, but it just sort of gets askew because we start applying it to things where it shouldn't actually be applied. And so one of the keys is, it's like using a logic. So this journal practice would be, any notebook. I think writing is a little more cathartic overall than typing, so I would suggest that writing in a notebook of some kind. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be special notebook or anything like that. Because typing, I feel like when you're typing, you kind of self-edit as you're typing. So I think the cathartic aspect of just kind of throwing it all out on a page and it not really mattering, I think really adds another element of therapeutic benefit for anyone, or at least for me. So the beginning of this practice would be, you take your whatever plain $1.99 journal, and you just, the first part of it, so there's going to be a couple parts. Three parts, I guess, would be the accurate way of saying that. So your first part is you're just going to kind of spill out there everything that you're feeling, how uncomfortable it is, what you're afraid of. The best idea with this, any journal practice, is to really not self-censor. Really to just kind of let it fly as though it doesn't matter, you'll burn this thing, in the next 2 months when you fill up all the pages. It's not some keepsake that you're going to keep around. It's not an heirloom. So you're just going to spill it out there, the beginning part. Obviously don't be too long, but you want to take some of that initial charge, because anxiety tends to have a heavy initial charge that causes a reaction in us. Now, what that reaction, how we normally behave after that reaction, will determine what kind of role that anxiety plays in our lives. So that's why it's important that you actually have a tool here, because if you just react to it, this thing could last you the rest of your life with zero benefit. This way you can actually open it up and sort of dissolve these barriers, these tremendous fears that come plunging up through your consciousness. So first part, spill it out on the page. Second part, you actually pick apart what the anxiety is. So key into, what is this anxiety saying to you? So the anxiety is saying that at this meeting I'm not going to be good enough because I'm dumb, or whatever this little piece of narrative is. And what you're going to do is you're going to write that down verbatim, kind of more or less how it's flowing, because typically, I guess anxiety also can have like a little OCD component to it, meaning the same thing kind of replays again and again and again. So we're going to break that thing down. So it's going to give us some strength here. And so let's say that is the scenario that I'm afraid that my boss is going to hate my idea. I haven't prepared enough for this meeting. I'm slower than the other people, that I'm on this project with, I'm a failure. So, something to that tune. And so you're going to write that down, and you're going to go through it sort of logically. And this is where the meditation is going to help, where, you might have to take a few deep breaths. Typically 5-6 deep breaths will really, really start to shift the flow of any anxiety in your body. And you want to look at this thing sort of critically, and you want to ask yourself out loud in your head, you even write it down on the paper, is this really true? Did I really not prepare enough? Because a lot of times I feel like most people's anxieties are unfounded, meaning that they are adequately prepared for whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish. Their fears maybe are they're not going to be good enough, which is a great thing to also break down. So you're going to ask yourself, is this really true? Am I really unprepared? Is there something that I really could have done? Because otherwise you're just wasting a lot of time just sort of chasing your tail with this anxiety when you really could be preparing, which breaks down, back to reason. You're not prepared, well, take some time and start to prepare. So ask yourself, is this true? Maybe you have a feeling that these people don't like you. That you're not smart enough. Is it true that you're not smart enough? Well, you got the job. You've been doing your job there, or you've been doing your profession for whatever period of time. So obviously you're adequate enough to be there. Maybe your fear is that they don't like you. And so again, ask, is that true? And also another question, a great question I think to ask would be, is that relevant? Does it really matter if they like me? Does that make me more or less efficient at what I'm trying to do here? So it's good to kind of, what you're doing is bring logic to a highly illogical place. And so what I was noticing as I was kind of going through that is, felt a lot of sort of tension in my chest. And as I broke it down with the logic, this is a completely made up scenario. So that's even more incredible that I'm getting bringing up a little bit of anxiety in a false scenario. So there is something to breaking it down that brings logic to something highly illogical. And it does I do feel a sense of freedom. And I have noticed from the time I was super, super anxious in my early 20s to now that this practice definitely made a tremendous impact. And All right, so the first part, spill it all out there. Second part, break it down. Find out, is this really true? Because if it is really true, you can make modifications to go back and correct yourself in the places where you actually are deficient. But most of anxiety doesn't have to do with actual deficiency. It has to do with the fear of deficiency. And so the third part of this practice would be to build up. So let's say maybe you are heavily focused and you do want to get better at what you're doing. So the third part would be to be grateful. You're going to do a list of just things that you're grateful for, qualities about yourself, like things that you actually are good at. Maybe you're a really good friend. Maybe you're a really good computer programmer, whatever your job. Maybe you're really good at a certain aspect of your job. And so this is a confidence, sort of a self assessment. You don't want to say anything that isn't necessarily true. This isn't to powder yourself in pink and lollipops. You want to be pretty clear about what you're actually good at, and then from there you're going to assess what would you like to be better at. This is a fantastic way of really developing yourself and breaking down your anxiety. This is something that I would absolutely love to hear feedback from you guys. I would love for you guys to try this. Make sure that you connect with me at my website, www.goldenlotus.me, Golden Lotus on Facebook, and make sure that you check out all the other videos here on Blue Chip Marketing or Blue Chip Media. There's lots of great things here, as well as on my site. So make sure that you check me out and definitely leave me feedback. Have a good day.